It was the worst experience of my entire life. I am about to hit y'all with the story time. So today's story time is going to be on the time that I got knee surgery. So let's get right into the video. Let's rewind to 2013. I was a junior in high school, and it was time for cheer camp. So I'm from New Jersey, and I went to a high school called Burlington Township High School. Shout out to them. I had been cheering since freshman year. I've honestly been cheering since I was 6. Cheerleading was literally life. Cheer was life. Junior year, we were going to cheer camp, and we would go to cheer camp in the Poconos every year. So we were at camp, and we were at cheer camp, and we were down at one of our sessions for the day, and all the cheerleaders know on my squad that like the hip hop dance was my thing. Like that was my thing. Like I loved learning the hip hop dance. So like we were down learning the hip hop dance, and there was this one move. So I did that move, and my knee went like that, literally, and dislocated from my leg. And I was holding my kneecap and my knee. Like it was the most, I don't even know, like I wasn't even in pain. That is the weird thing. Like I wasn't even in pain. I was more shocked and like, whoa, what's going on? Like I was just dancing a second ago. Why am I on the ground right now? And I was like, didn't want anyone to see me. So I quickly straightened my leg back out, and my knee just went back into place. And I was like, holy shit. Like the adrenaline from me doing the dance and stuff, like all of that kind of masked the pain I was in. So, and like I said, like I was like the definition of a cheer like fanatic. Like cheer was definitely life. So I didn't want to be out of camp. I didn't want to be injured. And honestly, that cheer camp, everyone was getting hurt. So I was like, there's no way I can go tell coach that I just got hurt, because she would have a heart attack. And so I was like, we're gonna rock with it. Like we're gonna be limping, but we were gonna make it work. So as soon as we got back from cheer camp, and if you ever went to cheer camp in the Poconos at Pine Forest, you'll know that everything is hills and hills and hills. So me walking up these hills with half a knee, one knee and a half, it was the struggle bus, honestly. So I pushed through camp or whatever, and finally got home, told my dad right away, like, hey, like pretty sure we need to go see a doctor, because my knee is not on 100. Like it's definitely not good. So we went to the doctor, and they pretty much told me that, and I'm gonna explain this in like terms that everyone can understand it, and I had them do the same thing to me, because I was just like, all right, you're talking a lot of stuff, and I want to just know what's going on with my knee, because you know I got cheer games and I got cheer competitions to get to. So we need to get this knee back together so I can do what I gotta do. I went to the doctors, and they told me that when I dislocated my knee, my MCFL, which is the ligament that wraps around your knee that stops it from dislocating, ruptured. So I no longer had that ligament anymore. They pretty much told me that I would need surgery, blasey, 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 blasey. But they told me that we could also go another route. If I didn't get surgery, I could try doing physical therapy. So I would go to physical therapy like once or twice a week to try and strengthen the muscles around my knee so that my kneecap wouldn't dislocate anymore. So I was like, bet we're gonna do this physical therapy, because I'm not getting surgery, because cheer is life, remember. So I cheered on my knee all season, and mind you, I'd be at practice and I would go down and put someone in a shoulder sit, and my knee would be like and it would just pop out, and I'd just be like, oh. Like I was just in so much pain all the time. I never knew when my knee was gonna dislocate. So after the first time it dislocated, it was just so loose that it would just pop out whenever. Like if I bent over, if I picked something up, it went down the steps, like my knee would just give out. So I went from August at cheer camp all the way through the season, which ends in February at Cheerleading Nationals, FYI. So I cheered on my knee from August until February. Just prayed to God at nationals on the national floor that my knee did not dislocate, and I swear everyone around me prayed the same thing, because they know if I go down, everyone's holding their breath to make sure that I come back up. Like, that's how bad it was. So at nationals, everything went fine, whatever. So I would always ice my knee, elevate it, you know, all that good stuff. After nationals, like, all right, let's get the surgery. Clearly I needed the surgery because rehab did not work. The muscle, I guess me strengthening the muscle did not prevent my knee from dislocating. So that was a no-go. So we had to do option number 2, which was surgery. Now, that was just like a long explanation to what this story time is actually about. So I had knee surgery on my right knee. I went to the hospital that morning. It was really, really early. I wasn't allowed to eat anything, and if you don't know me, I'm like, food. I need my food. So that was torture. That was the beginning of torture.
Just wait on it. Just wait on
it. So I got to the hospital, and they set me up on all my IVs. They made me put like a bonnet on. It wasn't a cute one though. Like in a room, it was like a pre-op room. My parents were in there, I remember, and my mom was nervous. I could tell in her face. I think she's a little bit more nervous than I was, but I was nervous. At this point, I was like, oh, like this is real. Like, this is real. So I don't like needles. I'm not like faint if I see a needle, but I'm like, I prefer not to get poked by a needle. So they had to do my IV, and then I thought the IV needle was bad. Then they gave me an epidural, which is like this long in my thigh to numb my whole leg before my surgery. So I had a huge epidural in my leg. They put some like cream on it so that I couldn't feel it. They wheeled me into the surgery room, and I remember getting on a bed, and I remember them putting a mask over my face and telling me to count down, and then I was... When I woke up, my parents were there, and I just remember being really groggy and not remembering anything really. I also remember my lips being super chapped, like chapped AF, and that's the only thing I was asking for. I remember I was high off something, and that's the only thing I wanted was chapstick. But literally I was putting chapstick on like all over my face, like no, not even on my lips at all. And I was just really groggy still, really sleepy, and then shit got real when I got home. Honestly, like if someone would have warned me, that would have been great, but like no warning, it just got so real. I remember being in my parents' bed because I didn't want to be in my room by myself. That was my parents' bed. My mom was on this side, my dad was on the side. I was holding her hand, holding his hand, screaming. Once my epidural wore off my leg, it felt like someone was trying to saw my leg off with a saw, like constantly going at it. So I was literally, felt like I was in labor. Like I was holding both hands, I was screaming off the top of my lungs, like I was in so much pain. And that's because I didn't take any medication like when I left the hospital, or like when I got right when I got home, nothing, like on the car ride, nothing. So once that epidural wore off and like I could feel my leg again, whew, honey, I was dying, like literally dying. So I took some of my medication that they gave me, and that it just was not kicking in fast enough. Like I was literally dying. My mom was like calling my dad was like calling the doctor, like, what do we do? Like she's screaming, and I'm just like, oh my god, like just screaming my head off. I was in so much pain. The neighbors probably thought I was getting murdered, like probably like 3 hours. After 3 hours, the medication started kicking in, and I eventually fell asleep. And then the next day, I remember just wanting food. Like I was so hungry. I hadn't eaten anything the day before. I was starving, and I wanted food ASAP. I was still in so much pain, but at least now I could control the pain a little bit better because I was taking the medication. Like when it was time for medication, that medication better been in front of me. But like that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was rehab. So at this point I had no muscle in my leg because they cut the muscle in my leg. They wrapped it around my kneecap and put screws in it to make sure that my knee wouldn't dislocate anymore. So that's what they did in the surgery. They cut a piece of my muscle in my thigh, they wrapped it around my kneecap, screwed it so my knee would not dislocate anymore. So I had no muscle in my thigh because it was cut, so I had to go to therapy to regain the muscle in my thigh and to get my range of motion back in my knee. Mind you, the physical therapist is this guy, like he had to be like 6'5", like muscles everywhere, like he would just look so mean, and he had no sympathy for my knee at all. He would take my knee and like bend it and I'd be screaming, crying, and he would just be like just bending it, not even listening to me screaming. I was like, we need to find a new therapist because I can't do this, no. So instead we found a new therapist, this sweet old lady, and I love her to death because she took her time and she actually heard my cries, and although it took a little bit more time, I was just more comfortable that way, and clearly my pain tolerance for trying to break the scar tissue in my knee and getting my knee to bend again was like 0. So we went to a different, and so mind you, this is right before my senior year, and I had already missed cheerleading tryouts, so I was already bummed about that. I already knew that I wasn't going to be able to try out, and so my goal was to get back to cheerleading before August. So I got my surgery in April. I needed to be June, July, August. April, May, June, July, August. So I had 4 months to get back to cheerleading. It was so much nicer. I was able to get my full range of, not my full range of motion, but like 92-93% of my range of motion back in my knee. So I can't fully sit on the back of my heels, but it'll work. We're gonna make it work. So it was the worst experience of my entire life. And when I went to my like appointment after my surgery, there was other people there and that had knee surgeries that were seeing the doctor, and I walked in and they're like, oh, what number surgery is this? And I was like, number? This is my first one. They're like, oh, just your first one? You'll be back soon. I'm like, I promise you I won't be back soon. So even now to this day, so that was 2013, it's 2018 now, so 5 years later, my knee still gives me issues, like it's always cracking and popping, but I refuse to ever go back to a doctor to get my knee like that, because I refuse to ever have knee surgery ever again. It's just not happening, not in my world. So needless to say, that was the worst experience of my entire life. Like, knee surgery is no joke, and the scar, I'll show you on my scar, it's not cute, not cute at all. I'd rather my knee just hurt because that was so painful, like so painful. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for this story time. If y'all like these, let me know in the comment box below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.